Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Training 4 webinar. My name is Chrissy, and I'm a Customer Success Manager, and I'll be guiding you through today's training. Today, we'll be covering a deep dive into reporting, the purchase by items report, purchase by suppliers, waste report, and the actual versus theoretical report. Let's get started. When you first log into MarketMan, you should open up to your dashboard. The dashboard will have any alerts for different items up on top here, adding new items into the system, new inventory items, or any invoice notifications as well will appear in this top alert section. You'll also be able to see orders placed today or if anything is due today as well. The next section is going to be a quick snapshot of a few of our different reports in MarketMan. You can view this report in a few ways, either by the invoices that have been uploaded into the system, or by the orders that have been placed into the system. Over here on the right, you can pick a time period, whether it's the month, week, or the day, to look at your overall view of purchases by supplier. Here you can see most of my purchases are coming from Cisco at this time. If you scroll down, you can see a list of common products. For example, my Prosecco is a big product that I purchase at my restaurant. I can also see my weekly purchases and how they fluctuate throughout the days and weeks. I can also create a purchases versus target report here, which will allow me to set goals on which supplier I'd like to spend the most or least amount of money with. For example, I like to target myself at 10% for Cisco, but it looks like right now I'm a little bit over that. And then you can see a quick shot of your food cost here. This is going to be slightly different than your overall cost of goods report. The cost of goods report will be more in detail. Now let's dive into some of our reports in more detail. Heading over to the menu, clicking the reports dropdown, we'll click into our purchase by item report. The purchase by item report is a great report to dive into what your most frequently purchased items are and keeping track of your purchases over time. Up on top here, you can see your current month or change the date range. You can also select a specific supplier as well. Here I can see in my clams, every invoice that I've recently purchased of clams and the total cost and how much I purchased at each time. This is also a great report to keep track of patterns when purchasing items. You can always view your report from this time last year and use this as a way to estimate what should be purchased for this month. Next, let's dive into the purchases by supplier report. The purchases by supplier report will give you a graph based off how much is purchased at each supplier. Again, you can filter your date range here and any specific supplier as well. Here you'll be able to see a breakdown of where all of your spending is coming from and a percentage of all of your invoices for each supplier. Clearly, I am purchasing the most at my Brian's Liquor and not so much at Grace's Produce. The next report we're going to dive into today is the waste report. Again, under the reports dropdown, we'll click Waste Report. The waste report is helpful to see trends that could be related to overpurchasing or overproducing. Up on top, you can pick a time period and any specific category as well. You can filter by the category, the date, the week, or even the reason why something is being wasted. You can see the total of waste in this time period and how that compares to your overall purchases. I'm about 1%, almost 2% here, and this is pretty good. We want to make sure that this number is under 2%. If you scroll down, you can see specific details as to when everything was wasted and how much was wasted. For example, my preparations of meatballs. I was throwing out 32 pounds in this time period. This could be a good idea to lower the count of meatballs that I'm making on a weekly basis to try to cut back on the amount of waste. If you filter by reason, you can see what the reasoning is as well, whether it is spoiled or dropped, broken, or if it's simply just end of day. At any time, if you want to go back into that waste event, you can click Show Waste Events, and we'll toggle back to the exact date and who reported this waste event in the system. The next report I want to look over is the actual versus theoretical report. Let's head over to the inventory dropdown and click actual versus theoretical. This report is extremely powerful and complex, and it does rely on a lot of data coming together in order to be accurate. To run this report, you need at least 2 inventory counts, all of your invoices received, all of your waste being logged, all recipes built, and then your sales and any transfers if you have multiple locations. Up on top here, we can pick our inventory count dates in which we want to run this report. Ideally, we suggest looking at this report in about a month's time period. The actual versus theoretical report can be a very advanced report. And again, a lot of details need to come together in order for this information to be accurate. Up on top here, you can see your total sales calculated, either coming from your point of sale system or uploaded, your variance value, again with your profit, and then your overall gross profit and theoretical usage and cost. Scrolling down, you can see your categories within MarketMan and how these categories compare with your variance report. Whether it's your food, beverage, unallocated, or miscellaneous items, you can see how each one has compared with variance. If you do have unallocated items, you can always update them here by clicking the settings icon. Scrolling down, you can see every one of your items that are within MarketMan. Anything on the left-hand side is going to be actual usage calculations. These rely on your inventory counts and your invoices. Anything on the right hand of the column is going to be theoretical usage. This relies on your recipes and your sales. Together, we can create a variance. The variance is going to be your actual versus your theoretical usage. And then, of course, if you have any waste associated as well. If you want to look into different categories here, you can always adjust the filter by clicking columns and checking and unchecking the inventory items, counts, or any of the columns that you'd like to be seen here. Looking into my sausage here, I can see my opening inventory count of 12, my actual usage, then it's comparing to my closing inventory count, and then I can go into how much was sold. 162 pounds was sold, the cost of what was sold, and then a calculated variance from my actual versus my theoretical, and then of course if I had any waste logged as well. Clearly this number is pretty big, but this is just a test account. Ideally, we would like this variance percent to be as close as possible to 0. If the variance is negative, this could mean a few things. The item is missing. This is potential theft. There's a missing invoice or possible overportioning in your recipes. If the item is positive, this means that there could be underportioning your recipes, again, a missing invoice, or completely missing recipe. So it's extremely important that we have all of our recipes built out, all of our invoices in order to see accurate numbers on the actual versus theoretical report. This report can be extremely helpful in catching wrong counts, portioning, recipe mistakes, missed waste, or if someone happens to be walking away with food, and is a great report to make sure that you're staying on top of your variance and being as profitable as possible. If you have more questions about the actual versus theoretical report, or would like to analyze yours further, please reach out to your customer success manager or live chat with our support team here by clicking the green question mark. Thanks.